Day one of deliberations underway in the Parkland school shooter sentencing trial.
For jurors to recommend that Nikolas Cruz get a death sentence, their decision has to be unanimous. Otherwise, he will receive life in prison without the possibility of parole.
WPTV anchor Michael Williams is live outside the Broward County Courthouse as we wait for a verdict to be handed down. Michael.
Jay, Shannon, 17 floors above me. Deliberations have gone on. I'm holding my phone because I'm staying in touch with my producer, photographer Chris Mills upstairs. If the jury is going to break for the day, it would be in the next little while. We'll see whether that happens. They've been in deliberations for about 5 hours today, faced with the most profound decision that an ordinary citizen can be asked to make: death or life in prison.
There are two possible punishments. One, life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, or two, death.
Barely an hour and a half into deliberations on this day of waiting for Parkland families and convicted shooter Nikolas Cruz, the jury had its first question.
Transcripts of Dr. Connor testimony.
The jury wanted clarity on testimony, including that of a doctor who testified about fetal alcohol syndrome. The defense has argued Cruz's mental health was hurt even before birth. The jury also wanted to hear again testimony from a doctor who said Cruz is, quote, grossly exaggerating severe mental illness.
I would expect them to come back and want to rehear some of the testimony.
Doug Rudman is a former prosecutor, now a defense attorney.
It could symbolize that they've already made up their mind that the government has made their case for death. Now they're just trying to balance it with things that might sway towards life.
Before sending jurors to deliberate, Judge Elizabeth Shearer summed up what they must consider, aggravating factors in legal terms, to conclude the death penalty is warranted.
The premeditated intent to kill must be formed before the killing.
There are mitigating factors to consider too, reasons, the defense argued, to spare the shooter the death penalty.
If you have a reasonable doubt as to the existence of an aggravating factor, you must find that it does not exist.
And so, as I said at the outset, this jury of 7 men and 5 women deliberating still at this hour, keeping an eye on what's going on in the courtroom, talking to my producer upstairs, and ultimately weighing the evidence. As we said at the outset, the aggravating factors that the prosecution argued included cold, calculated premeditation, the most heinous of murders, 17 people killed that day, 17 attempted murders on Valentine's Day 2018. And the defense arguing that for all of that, for all of the horror, that a life should be spared because of the kind of life they argued that Nikolas Cruz lived, one of abuse, neglect, and even before his birth, of impairment. So we'll continue to follow this. We'll let you know as soon as we hear anything of the latest from jurors. For now, reporting live from Fort Lauderdale, I'm Michael Williams. Back to you, Jay and Shanna.